Welcome back to another video. As you can see, it is, another investment video. Every Wednesday, we're doing an investment video. Today, I kind of want to focus on different topics every time we do this. And I know there hasn't been a fielding update, and not many people have really talked about defensively who to invest in. And obviously, I don't know when there will be a fielding update, but for when there is, it's good to obviously have some of the guys that are good defensively added to your team now, so that um, down the road, once it gets closer to a fielding update, people kind of start looking at defense, and then there's prices way higher. Um, I'm also going to be throwing in a few pitchers just because there's not too many guys that are good defensively that aren't already stats wise good at defense in the game. Like, for example, one of the best defenders this year, Marcus Simeon. I definitely do see his fielding probably getting higher since it is at 87, and his reaction, stuff like that. But it's already relatively pretty good. So I don't expect it to go too much higher because of that. And he's already a diamond. So, it's not a good investment um, for the fielding update whenever they do have one. Firstly, I want to go over a few pitchers before that. One of them being Clark Schmidt, who has been really, really good so far this season. Problem is now he's on the 4 to 6 weeks. I think he's out for. So that definitely plays a part in this. Where I don't know if he's gonna go up to gold. Obviously, this roster update, and so for that reason, I don't know. I mean, this is more of a long-term investment. If you get Clark Schmidt, I think that he's been, pretty good in the games he has played, obviously. And the only problem I would see is that once Garrett Cole comes back, he's the guy that goes to the bullpen, as the rotation is amazing this year. And so for that reason, he could be one of the guys that ends up going to the bullpen with how Luis Gil is playing. Um, it's kind of like at that point, someone's got to go to the bullpen, and it could be him. So that's the only reason I wouldn't go and invest in him. But he's been amazing. I think on the season he has a 2.5 ERA. And a lot of his, if you look at a lot of his stats, like his Ks per nine, his hits per nine, his walks per nine, and his home runs per nine are all really, really low. And, he's been one of the top players in terms of not walking, batters. His home runs per nine definitely should go, up for sure, as he is like a .7 home runs per nine in the from last roster update to now. And so, yeah, I think relatively good to get into if you're, willing to put some stubs into a guy that could take, a long time because of his injury and stuff like that. But I think it's a pretty good, low price to get him at. Secondly, another pitcher, Nathan Eovaldi. I think I quickly went over him in the past video. But this guy's coming off an injury, and I think that since, in the two starts he's had since he's came back from his injury, first start was a little rough. He allowed some runs, didn't go too far into the game. But his second one was a lot better. And I think it's going to continue. Like, I think the Rangers, especially with how their bats have been this season, struggling a lot, their pitching has to really, step up and take, a larger role in trying to help them win games. And I think Nathan Eovaldi, right now, he has 0 buy orders. He won't be going up after this update for sure. But after this roster update, this is the main guy I think I'm going to be on, as getting him for the buy now price I think is going to be great. Then also on that team, also for like the defensive investment and just overall investment, like he's been great all around, but his defensive stats I definitely could see going up still also. Same with his hitting stats is Josh Smith. And for the price of 27 stubs, another guy I'm pretty sure I went over in the last video, but this is just a steal at this amount of stubs. 26 stubs right now for a guy that has been one of the better players on this team for sure this season. I think it's just way too good to pass up on, to at least go get you some of him. He's going to at least be a silver. And, at this price, you're going to at least, double your stubs, which, the more you have, the more you'll make, obviously. And I could definitely see this guy going gold for sure if he keeps playing how he's playing by the end of the year, for sure, at least. So yeah, the next defensive guy I would go over is Jaron Duran. This guy has been amazing at defense this year, and they moved him to left field. He was a center fielder before, and he's been literally one of the best, left fielders. His outs above average is pretty high. His defensive WAR, I'm pretty sure, is like tied for third in the league as of when this is being recorded. And just overall, he's been amazing defensively this year. And the 63 fielding, I think, for me, is the thing that I'm looking at the most right now. Is his 63 fielding is got to go up whenever they have a fielding update. Maybe even his arm can go up a little bit more, I think. And even when it comes to hitting the ball, this is his best season, highest OPS of his career, I'm pretty sure. And his power, I definitely could see going up to at least in the 40s, which could boost him, a good maybe plus 1 or 2 overall just from that. And then from the defense of his fielding, which I think should go up a lot because he is definitely a guy that has a chance of winning a Gold Glove this year, I think. When his fielding goes up, then he's going to go up quite a bit of overall for sure. And so I think this is a guy that we definitely see go gold, mainly because of his defense. And so I would definitely, at the price of 123 stubs right now, it would be the time, I think, to get him before, obviously, whenever they have their first fielding update. But he's definitely, I think, the top defensive guy that I'm, looking at that isn't already too good, defensively in terms of, stats. Obviously, the 87 reaction is pretty high, but his fielding is a 63. So that's one of the guys that I'm on for sure. Another guy that's been really good defensively is Richie Palacios. If you look at his defensive stats, 68 reaction, 65 arm, 60 fielding, I feel like all those are just way too low, as he has been covering a lot of ground. I'm pretty sure his outs above average is pretty high in the league, in the top 30. That's for all positions. And he's just been a really, really good outfielder overall, from hitting the ball, from fielding, everything. And I definitely see his fielding, his arm reaction. I could definitely see all that going up for sure, as I feel like a 60, 65, and 68 is way too low for him with how he's playing defensively. So that would be the second guy. And kind of like I'm saying about all these guys, is relative for price, I think, is, the whole point of, for me, investing, is I'm trying to find guys at good prices. For 64 stubs right now, that's an amazing price to get a guy that I definitely also could see going gold eventually. Obviously, some of these guys I don't see as next update, but they definitely, I think, will eventually be gold. Next, we have Jackson Merrill, who's, he hasn't been hitting the ball too well as of, recently. But when it comes to, just his fielding itself, at a 62 fielding, 70 arm, 63 reaction, this guy's been amazing defensively, and that's the key reason, honestly, why this guy has a chance of even winning Rookie of the Year. He just covers a lot of ground. This guy got drafted as a shortstop. They moved him to center field because they wanted his bat in the lineup, and it turns out that he actually is providing more of the defensive side of the ball for them. And at 121 stubs here, I mean, his 62 fielding, I think, has to go up. His reaction has to go up. I don't know exactly what they account for the reaction, I'm not going to lie, but whatever it is, he is too good of defensively for his stats to be, I think, this low. One of the best, center fielders. I'm pretty sure he has the most putouts of all center fielders this year. He's been amazing defensively. His defense, I definitely think, could put him up to gold, for sure. And so, yeah, the next guy I want to go over quickly is a pitcher. Like I said, a lot of this is defensive guys and a few pitchers added in. For the price, pretty expensive, obviously, before the roster update, but I definitely see this guy as someone that will go gold for sure. Cole Reagans. The main thing I'm looking at when I look at Cole Reagans is his Ks per 9 is at 67. And from last roster update to now, he has like a 12 Ks per 9. which is like top 5 in the league. And I don't know. To me, it makes very little sense to me that he is got a 67 Ks per nine. That definitely will go up. And he's just been overall really, really good this year. His ERA might not look the greatest, but it's been getting better as the season's been going on. And I definitely see the main thing, like I said, is his Ks per nine going up from 67. And I definitely think another guy that will go gold for sure. The next guy that we're going to go over defensively is Josh Rojas, who another guy, look at his defensive stats. He has a 62 reaction, 66 arm, 63 fielding. And I feel like all those are really, really low considering, again, another guy that has been playing really good defensively without too high of defensive stats. And he's been hitting the ball even also really good too. So it gives you another reason to invest in him. He's been hitting the ball, I think, the best of his career. Highest OPS, highest batting average, I'm pretty sure, of his whole career. And so for that reason, I think this is another guy for 73 Stubs. Possibly a guy we see go gold as, the Seattle Mariners have actually been a lot better as of recently. And, with that being said, I could definitely see them starting to boost overalls higher for teams that are obviously doing better. And he's one of the guys that have been a key reason defensively and even hitting. So, yeah, I think he definitely will be another guy that goes up defensively. Another one that I would get into is Carlos Correa at 132 Stubs. He's also batting really well, but his 65 fielding, 75 arm, and 64 reaction I think is really low, considering I think fielding percentage for all shortstops, he's tied for third with someone else that we're also going to go over in this video. His fielding is, I think, been way too good to, have a 78 overall, or to be a 78 overall from it. And I definitely see him going gold. The 65 fielding will go up. It has to. There's no way unless they're just not paying attention. And so Carlos Correa, I think, at this price, 132 Stubs for a guy that's 2 overall off of gold, that could definitely make you some profit. And so I think Carlos Correa is another defensive guy you should go and buy. The next guy that you should get defensively, I think, is Willy Adames, who's also batting really good. So overall, I know his fielding's already at 90, but I think his reaction arm could definitely go up because I think he's been, overall just amazing at defense. His hitting has been better. And I think Willy Adames maybe doesn't go diamond, but I could definitely see him going up, maybe a +1, +2. And if you get him at 600 Stubs, you could flip him for, if he goes up to 83, you can make a few Stubs off that at least, not too crazy. But at the same time, I think he definitely still will go up from 81. Like I said, maybe not to diamond, but he'll still go up, I think. The next guy is Ezekiel Tovar, who currently is 225 Stubs. He's been hitting the ball amazing. Fielding, he already has a 90 fielding, but his arm and reaction could, I think, go up. And also just hitting the ball. He's been great hitting the ball too. So overall, this is, I guess, not fully a defensive investment, but overall just good guy to invest into. I think he's been really, really good this season. Obviously he plays for the Rockies, and he plays in a hitter-friendly park, the most hitter-friendly park actually in all of baseball. But yeah, I definitely think his price is starting to go up for a reason at 225. But I think he's been really, really good defensively and also hitting the ball, and he's a guy I definitely see also going gold for sure. So yeah, those are kind of like some of the other guys, or some of the guys defensively, kind of for now, that I would look into before they ever have a fielding update. Obviously there's not too many that are not, already good. Or actually there's one more. There's one more that I think could be definitely a pretty good one, is Colton Cowser. His fielding stats, 68, 68, 66. And his arm should definitely go up a lot. He, I think, has one of the best arm, 99th percentile in arm strength. in the league. His fielding's been really good. He has, a good amount of, I think he's like fourth in outs above average. So this guy, I think defensively, his stats are going to really raise up. And I could definitely see it helping him get to gold, especially at 64 Stubs. Really cheap. He's also, he's kind of cooled off, but he started off the season really hot with the bat. Obviously, he's cooled off now, but defensively, he's still been really good. So I think just from his defense alone is definitely a guy that you should also go out and get. Aside from that, though, that's really all the main defensive investments. Obviously, I don't know when, like I said, I don't know when there's going to be a defensive fielding update, whatever. But for whenever there is, obviously, it's, I think, better to have some of these guys now before, people start looking at them once it gets closer to that time. And then I gave out a few pitchers that I think could definitely go up in the long run. Cole Reagans was one of them, Clark Schmidt, and I said Nathan Eovaldi. And then another, just because I've seen his price drop a lot and I think it doesn't make too much sense, is Reese Olson, which, his price was a lot higher, which is why I didn't really give him out to any other videos. But now at 121, I feel like his price is really, really low. And so for that reason, at 121, I think it's definitely a really good price to go out and get Reese Olson. Young pitcher. He's been great. But yeah, so that's kind of it. It's kind of a little quick investment video. Trying to bring one every Wednesday, even if there's not too much information. And then I don't know, maybe we'll make another, the show video maybe tomorrow or well, actually probably tomorrow, if anything, if I did do it, of just what to do before, obviously, season 2 comes out, which is on Friday, 2 days from now. So, obviously, get your investments in. If you haven't seen any of my other investments, kind of like the actual main investments for this update, I already kind of gave them out in past videos, so go watch those. And yeah, we kind of just went over some defensive guys. That's really it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.